Okay, so we have seen some information about human-computer interaction. Let's see some possible applications of human-computer interaction into the social and healthcare sectors. Just some possible applications and some areas and some information where this new technology, human-computer interaction, and everything that we are having right now in this area can help in social and healthcare. So in our previous video, we have seen what human-computer interaction is and its main role in approaching technology to everybody and helping us to better do any kind of tasks. So professionals in social and healthcare sectors, unfortunately, they have a current framework with many time constraints and many repetitive tasks. Often force them to do not focus on what they are essential as professionals. So somehow they are wasting a lot of time doing tasks that, using of course the right solutions in human-computer interaction, can be reduced and can be, let's say, very interesting for them in order to focus on what they are really important. On the other hand, patients and clients can dramatically improve their quality of life, the tasks they can undertake, and even their own health using some of the recent advances. So, human-computer interaction for clients and patients. Let's talk first about that. So, all humans have limitations in their physical and even cognitive capabilities. Some are immediately visible, others will come with the age. So, sooner or later, most of us, we are going to have problems, of course. So the application of human-computer interaction to support and enhance the physical and cognitive capabilities of humans is one of the most promising fields. So human-computer interaction can provide solutions for the blind or those with low vision, those who are deaf or have impaired hearing, people with limited mobility, and many other special needs, as you can read here. So there are also technical solutions to those who face difficulties in cognitive processing, including people suffering from symptoms of autism, dyslexia, attention deficit disorder, dementia, Alzheimer, etc. So in these pictures you have here, okay, you can see devices that originally were not thought for helping, but mainly for entertaining. The good point is that any device, any human-computer interaction solution, with the integration of artificial intelligence, etc., can be easily adapted for those with functional diversity, as you can see in these pictures. With these new technological solutions, professionals can help get extra feedback and information from patients and clients regarding not only their activities and health, but also their behavior, social patterns, etc. The possibilities are limitless right now. So here we have, for example, some areas where we can use human-computer interaction, new technologies in order to do something, in order to help people with some kind of problems or functional diversity. For example, you have mobility impairment, okay? So as you can read, this is just a suggestion. How can we support efficient interaction with the computer without the use of a standard keyboard or mouse? What software tools can we provide to minimize the use of difficult devices such as phones, paper, and environmental controls. So things that for us are very easy, for many people with some kind of mobility impairment is really difficult. And the use of human-computer interaction can be a before and after. Vision impairment, another possibility, another example. How can we completely transform our extremely visual interfaces based on screens, displays, and so on, into intuitive and efficient non-visual interfaces? We have right now, using human-computer interaction and artificial intelligence, the possibility of using our voice and natural language. This is an example. Speech impairment. What happens with these people that because whatever, they have difficulties in order to speak, okay? So how can we support, this is an example, the generation of conversations at, let's say, 150 words per minute with other interaction from the patient. So imagine the patient cannot speak. What can we do in order to help them to carry out a normal conversation? Okay, what options we have? Hearing impairment. How can we use computers to translate spoken language to sign language and vice versa? This is currently possible using human-computer interaction and artificial intelligence. Cognitive impairment. How can we adapt interfaces to suit many cognitive different levels? So for example, we can have applications that, depending on your cognitive level, can automatically, and using artificial intelligence, to adapt everything in order to offer you the options that make your life much more easier, taking into account your cognitive level or your cognitive limitations. How can we, for example, stimulate and improve the cognitive level of those that they are having problems? So here you have just a collection of examples. And for these areas, we have right now very interesting ideas, technologies that we can use. As a matter of fact, big companies are aware of this. And here you have an example from Microsoft, where they are using artificial intelligence in order to improve the accessibility, okay? And here you have an example, an application, it is called Seeing AI, that just used in a mobile. The mobile is able, using the camera, to describe in natural language what the mobile is looking at, okay? And this is improving quite a lot, okay? So somehow, with that, people with some kind of vision impairment can have a description of whatever she has in front, okay? So this is just an example. So the big companies are aware that they can do quite a lot in order to help everybody. As a matter of fact, we have had some solutions for some years. So you can see in these pictures very good examples of technologies that we have been using in order to help people with some kind of impairment. But as you know, more and more devices and solutions are coming, sometimes mainly focused on sports, but they are very easy to be integrated into other areas, okay, where we can use these technologies in order to help everybody, okay? In this context, it's important to pay attention to prevention, okay, where we are going to be able to detect, okay, that something is about to happen, or maybe you're about to have some kind of problem, okay? This is very interesting. And we are not talking about only health. We can talk about also some kind of change in your social patterns, for example, or your social activity that somehow can warn us that maybe you are about to have a problem, okay? So prevention is a key word in this context. So what about human-computer interaction for social and healthcare professionals, okay? So, well, picture is an example where it's maybe an exaggeration or not, but sometimes professionals, they have to deal with, as you can see, interfaces that are not very user-friendly, okay? And this is nonsense, okay? I mean, to waste time with this kind of interfaces is a pity, okay? So with the time restrictions we have right now, to force professionals to spend a lot of time dealing with this kind of interfaces is something we cannot afford anymore. So human-computer interaction can be essential in reducing time and complexity of many repetitive tasks in social and healthcare. Time reduction allows to focus on activities where professional skills are really invaluable, okay? So human-to-human interaction, this is the important thing sometimes. So human-computer interaction cannot just reduce their time on introducing data and doing repetitive actions, but also providing clear, visual, and a digestive collection of information essential in their decision-making processes, okay? So the combination of human-computer interaction plus artificial intelligence, thinking, of course, and interacting a lot with the professionals in this field can generate a new range of solutions where everything is gonna be much easier for them. So a whole new world of possibilities for health and social care professionals are waiting for you to be implemented. We have already the technology. We have just to implement the solutions. So ICT people need to know their needs too, and what they can develop in order to improve professionals' work. So here it's very important, of course, to have a connection between the two worlds, the technology and the social and healthcare sectors. So human-computer interaction and artificial intelligence can help professionals to focus on what they are really essential. Human-computer interaction and artificial intelligence can help human-to-human interaction, okay? And to reduce the time and the effort in things that can be somehow automated or facilitated using these technologies. Human-computer interaction, artificial intelligence, and many new technology only work with transdisciplinary co-creation. So it's very important to have everybody involved in the development of these solutions. So ICT professionals cannot be the only actors in this plot. It's a bad idea. Social and healthcare professionals, patients, clients, caregivers, relatives, the city, the whole society are more than essential. So it's useless to create the most advanced technical solutions that helps nobody, because we haven't understood what the problems are. So this transdisciplinary co-creation is essential. So here you have some example of ours, just as a kind of little snapshots of what kind of things we can do. So here you have a communication system for those with highly mobility and speech impairment. So using an adapted stylus in their head, but also using face recognition or even using some specific brain-computer interfaces that reads the electrical brain activity, we are able, the patients are able to interact with this application and to say, okay, to indicate using a synthetic voice, okay, what they want to do or whatever they want to express. This is another example, what we call serious games, and we have developed some. The use of these serious games can help people with some kind of necessity to learn something. In this case, they are real examples we have developed for psychostimulation, or what you have in the top, games for helping children with special needs to learn maths, okay? So these kind of applications are really very important because they can help people with special needs to do something. As a matter of fact, we did something very similar, as you can see here in these pictures, for people they are in the first stages in Alzheimer. So somehow we can reinforce them some functional and cognitive stimulation, okay? Of course, we can use devices you are very familiar with, such as Alexa, Google Nest, Google Assistant, Siri, and so on, in order to help. In this case, we did it in order to help people, children in this case with special needs, in their daily activities. But we have been working with, and we are still working with very different areas. You can see real pictures of ours. We are using electroencephalograph devices or brain-computer interfaces in order to make interactions with your brain or just looking at specific things. We can interpret face and hand gestures as an input, just using a camera. Of course, we can use virtual reality and augmented reality for assisting impaired people, and also, of course, to train professionals. We can use voice assistants, natural language processing, artificial intelligence in order to help everyone. We can use artificial intelligence, deep learning for object and environment detection and interpretation. The example I showed you before, seeing AI from Microsoft, okay? This is something we can do in very specific domains, etc. Here you can see that, for example, we can control characters in a game by using our hand, or we can use the camera of the device in order to detect objects, okay, what you have in the bottom. So the possibilities are limitless, and the solutions must be transdisciplinary solutions. So we have to work together in order to find new ways in order to help people and professionals using these new possibilities from human-computer interaction and artificial intelligence. So this has been just a brief collection of possibilities that human-computer interaction can offer to professionals, but also patients and clients in the social and healthcare sectors.